replacing bar tape on your road bike. It's important to have comfortable bar tape on your bike, as that's a contact point where your hands are, and it's got to be comfortable, both the grip but also for longer rides. You'll be on your hands a lot and it can fatigue you out and cause pain, carpal tunnel syndrome if you don't have something that's comfortable. And so today, this is the old bar tape. As you can see, it's pretty old and pretty dirty. One of the mistakes I did was use white bar tape, which looks nice when it's new, but within a month or so it starts turning gray and black and even kind of yellowish here. However, it did match my seat, which is white and black. But today we're going with black cork fat wrap from Specialized. I'm not sure if they still make this, but whether you have the bike in a stand or propped up against your wall, what you'll want to do is stabilize the front wheel to keep it from twisting like this. The easiest way I find and cheapest is to use an old toe strap, which if you don't have one laying around, you could probably buy one at the bike shop for fairly inexpensive. What I do is I just run it up from the front wheel, try to miss all the cables, especially if you're working on your drivetrain. You don't want the cables to be blocked by this, but we're just trying to stabilize the front wheel, and so keep it from moving a whole lot. It doesn't completely stabilize it, but that's okay. Next step is just fold your hoods back away from the handlebars. Just do it now, that way when it comes time to actually wrap or unwrap at that point, you don't have to worry about doing it. Next, I just pop out the bar plugs right away. Those keep the bar tape from unwrapping. Start unwrapping the finishing tape of the old bar tape, and that will give it a start, and hopefully the finishing tape is attached to the bar tape, and so you can just start unwrapping. Here you can see the difference from the clean white bar tape and the old dirty icky gunk. So
what's nice about this old bar tape is that it's Blue Skin brand, which was comfortable and grippy, but also they do a good job of not using super sticky tape on the back, so just enough residue on there that it keeps the tape from moving, but not so much that you have a sticky mess on your handlebars afterwards. So we just went around the shifter controls there and just continue unwrapping. Once it's done, you can take off the little piece there that goes for the controls.
So on this side you can see that there's a lot more leftover residue from older bar tape wrap jobs that I've done. So I'm just going to take a little bit of Goo Gone and the rag and try to get some of it off. Again, to me it's not a huge deal because it's going to be covered up anyway. But if you're a person that likes to be meticulous about how clean things are, you can go ahead and do that. And you may have to use a little bit of either your fingernail or a plastic scraper or something to get underneath the actual tape to be able to get the residue off. But it should just come off fairly simply, depending on the amount of glue that they used in their residue. Okay, so here's the new wrap. It comes with this stuff just to hold it together. And this is nice because it doesn't have, it has like a sticky residue on the back, but it's not like a tape or a glue. This is the bar end plug. We'll just have that ready for later. I could also reuse the old bar plugs. Included in the package is the little piece for around the brake levers and finishing tape, which you can use to finish it up. If not, we also use electrical tape, same thing basically. So we'll take our little piece that they have cut with tape on it and just place it around the band of the shifter or the brake lever, whatever you want to call it. It's both on these spikes. And so that's ready to go. Then what you do is you start, usually I start at the bottom, and you want to go about half of the bar tape's width and wrap the end. Make sure that even at this point there's a little bit of overlap, and that's going to be tucked into the handlebars after you're done. I always start from the outside and work in and up. And this is important because as you're riding up here on the tops, your natural hand motion is going to be pulling it this way. And so if you're pulling it this way and your bar is wrapped the opposite way, you're going to always be unraveling the bar tape. So if you have it wrapped in such a way that when you grip the handlebars, it's always actually tightening the tape. And so you want to give it a good stretch. Now, depending on how thick the tape is and what material it is, you can pull it at different tensions to either get more cushion effect or to pull it thinner. I don't like it too thick, but I do want some cushion to it. So I'm pulling it fairly tight, but not so tight that it's going to start to rip or anything like that. The other thing is always overlap, probably at least about a half of the bar tape width. Now as we approach the shift levers, we're going to do under, and then we're going to pull it tight and make sure, and then come over the top, and then just continue with the wrap. Now what I generally like to do is not pull it quite as tight on the tops, because that's where I do a majority of my riding, and so I want it a little more cushiony there. But after a couple of times you may like it to feel different. For a long time I like to pull it as tight as possible. But okay, now we're getting towards the end of the wrap job on this side, and you can see the bulge in the handlebars. Some newer bars don't have that much of a bulge, but what we're going to try to do is cut the bar wrap so that it will be pretty even with the bulge of the bar, and then we can use our finishing tape to clean it up. So I know that I want to end it right about here. So get your scissors, maybe make a little mark right there. I know that that's about where I want to end it. I'll unwrap it back up, and then I will cut this at an angle like so. And that's okay if it unwraps, because you can just redo it. At this point you can get your finishing tape or your electrical tape. If you're using electrical tape, a nice handy tip is to get your piece ready, unwrap it, probably about 9 inches or so, cut it, and just stick an end on your top tube and let it hang there, because it's going to be handy. If you're using the finishing tape, you may want to peel back some of the backing just so that it's ready to go, and you can also put that on your top tube. Now get back. Doesn't look like it unwrapped too much, so again, just start wrapping it back up. Hey dog, stop it, come on. Okay, black is probably the best bar tape to get, mostly because it won't show any dirt or grease that gets on there. Okay, so now we're done there, and what we'll do is we'll take our finishing wrap or finishing tape, put it on that little nub that's in, and we can pull our backing away and just pull it. Whoops. That's okay because we have our electrical tape. And that will probably stick better anyway. So, once again, put that there. Electrical tape on the little nub. And pull it sort of snug. Again, you're going in this particular direction so that as you're gripping it, it doesn't come undone. And there you go. That's one side. Put your hood back on. Take your ends here, tuck them into the handlebar, and then take your bar plug, push it in. You may have to give it a little smack, but other than that, you're done. Alright, so we're just finishing up the other side here. I've already cut the end at an angle, pulling it tight here. You may notice on this bar tape that there's flecks of cork in there. I think this is an actual cork wrap, so it will have flecks of cork that are brown there. And let's see here. You'll also notice that you don't wrap all the way up to the stem. I mean, I guess you could, but usually most handlebars have a little bit of section here, about an inch, inch and a half, that is actually meant to be left unwrapped, and 99% of the time it is left unwrapped. I don't know if it's for mounting aero bars or if there was any real reason not to, but just out of tradition and because that's the way it's always been, I choose not to wrap any further in. And so that's that. Finishing tape is on. Pull my hoods back down, tuck the end in, and then get my plug ready. Oh, sorry. And sorry about the dogs before. They were tussling about. We sent them outside, so they're not gonna bother us anymore. There we go. The bar plug is in. We're all set. So next time I go for a ride, I'll have nice new bar tape. There's nothing like the feeling of new bar tape, in addition to it being a lot more comfortable than the old worn out bar tape. It looks a lot nicer, and again, this is a thicker bar tape than what I had before, so it's going to be a lot more comfortable, especially on longer rides. And black still matches my saddle, so that's always a good thing. Thank you. Bye-bye.